Hi everybody, and welcome to Wrike's webinar devoted to personal productivity tips. During this webinar, we will cover some of the best practices that can help you make sure that you stay on top of your daily tasks, and that you know how to successfully manage all of your personal work within your Wrike account. So it doesn't really matter whether you are an admin or a user, these quick tips and best practices will surely lead you to the right direction. You'll learn how to reduce the amount of manual work in your Wrike account and how not to forget about a single thing. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so before we actually start, let me introduce myself and my co-host today. My name is Vlad, and I'm a customer success manager here with Wrike. I work on optimizing users' accounts and adjusting them to their needs. And together with me is Maria, who's also a customer success manager.
Hello, I'm working a lot of our customers to make sure that they know how to make the most of our direct accounts and be as effective as possible.
Thanks, Maria. We'll be hosting this webinar for you today, and we have gathered a lot of fun tips for you to consider when working from Wrike. So we will run this demo part for you first, and after that we'll have a quick Q&A session. So feel free to submit your questions in the questions box, and we'll get to them right after the presentation. And we also have one of our colleagues helping us answering all the questions, so they'll be sorted even during the presentation. But we will also have a live Q&A after the main part of our today's demo. Okay, so yeah, don't be shy and ask about your use cases, about your particular struggles, and we'll get to all of the questions. So also after the webinar, all of you will receive a recorded version of the webinar, and it also will be available on our website. This all will be done in about 24 or 80 or 48 hours, after the presentation. So let's begin into today's topic. And first of all, let's discuss our agenda, of course. So as you can see, we will touch upon some of the best practices that are created to help boost your personal productivity. So we'll start by discussing the getting things done methodology. It's a popular one, it's very mainstream, I would say, and we will show how to implement it within your Wrike accounts. We'll also touch upon the Chrome To-Do extension. And for those of you who do not really use Chrome, don't worry, we'll show how to work without it, but still achieve the same result. We'll touch upon the decision matrix, and we'll show you how to make your priorities better, how to be more effective in your prioritization of your daily tasks with the decision matrix that is based on dashboards. And we'll finish up the demo part by showing you how to organize your personal meetings in Wrike and your team meetings as well. And after all is done, we will show you some fun infographics, some additional tips and tricks on how to boost up your personal productivity. So now over to Maria, who's going to tell us more about the getting things done concept so that we get more familiar with that.
Thank you, Vlad, for such an amazing introduction. To continue with our topic today, I would like to clarify that personal productivity isn't about working harder. It's, of course, about doing less in order to achieve more. By spending less time and effort navigating an unstructured mess of tasks and reminders, we can channel our energy into creative thinking and truly valuable work. Before starting my career at Wrike, I was always struggling because I'm not, to be honest, a very organized person, and I didn't have a place to store all my tasks for the week. Multiple post-its, different apps on my phone, it's never really worked, and always no clear system. With Wrike, I really found out that there are so many approaches for personal productivity, and one of them, which really helped me, is Getting Things Done by David Allen methodology. It's flexible, action-oriented, structured, and it provides perspective and control over your commitments, just like Wrike. That's we like it. Here are 3 key principles and 5 main steps of getting things done methodology. First of all, keep nothing in your head. It's better to write it down than always determine your next steps. Once you've captured your idea, create an actionable first step and get it off your mind. And finally, you need to have a system that you really trust to manage all of your ideas and reminders. Once you understand getting things done basics principles, you can now design your own personal system in Wrike any way that suits your unique working style. To help you get started quickly, we will show you how you can successfully implement this approach using Wrike. Today, I'm going to share with you how I personally organize my work with Getting Things Done method using our brilliant new feature, To-Do Extension for Chrome. So, it's really nice because Wrike To-Do Extension turns new Chrome browser tabs into places where you can do your work. It's super easy as you will not have even to open Wrike to write down your ideas and tasks. It will be here in the Chrome tab. You can also use the extension to complete your task, prioritize them, open tasks in Wrike directly from your Chrome tab, and check out your notifications, so you will really never forget anything important. Also, it's really the good solution to build your own to-do list. You will really stay in the loop with your inbox notifications, and of course, you can customize this and pick some really cool images on your Chrome tabs. Great. Here you will find some instructions how to install and configure your Wrike To-Do in Chrome. To download the extension, find this app in the Apps and Integration sections in your profile upper right-hand corner and add it to Chrome. Once it's done, each time you open a new tab in Chrome, you will have this to-do interface. What you can do now to follow our Getting Things Done approach? Of course, it's the time now to start our live demo. Just let me quickly switch to our Chrome tab with Wrike To Do. So, as you may see, it's the Chrome browser. So I would like to show you one disclaimer before we start to apply this approach. If for some reasons you do not use or do not have the possibility to use Chrome To-Do extension and Chrome browser, our approach will work for you. And we will also show you how. So now let's begin. First of all, you can, of course, start by noting every single action that you need to do during your working day. It could be something personal, like buy products, or really work-related, like send an email to customer. In our example, we already have a bunch of tasks created up front. I will show you all these tasks. But we can add some more to show you how it works. Let's imagine this one. Check the chat for Q&A section, for example. So check the chat before the Q&A session. Great. I just need to put enter, and I already have this task in the list. Cool. What else? As I said, you can easily complete these tasks like this, and it will disappear from your to-do and be completed task in Wrike. Yeah, also, you can simply prioritize all the tasks that you have on the list by drag and drop these tasks in the list. Great. Also, you will have here all the notifications that you have in your inbox. Like here, I have some notifications that I received from Matt. He assigned some tasks to me and put some comments on tasks shared with me. Great. What else? You can also open this task directly in Wrike. Really practical thing if you need to go down and work with these tasks. Great. What will happen next? Once you activated To-Do Extension, a new private folder Chrome To-Do Extension is created in your Wrike account. I will switch now to my Team account to show you how it looks in our Wrike workspace. So, here we are. So, in my Wrike workspace, I have now the special folder called Chrome To-Do Extension. When I click on this, I will see the whole list of tasks that we've created using our Chrome To-Do extension. However, if you are working in Wrike with colleagues, there is a strong chance that you already have shared folders and projects. If a task that you create belongs to a larger project or folder, then it's really important to locate these tasks in that project or folder. It's really easy, and you need just to drag and drop the task into the right place. Let's imagine that I have something assigned already, or some, let's say, marketing related stuff here. So I feel that it should be something like, yeah, create a marketing campaign. So it's something important for my marketing team. So I will just drag and drop it here, maybe. Or I feel that it's something related to my customers and I need to add it to my AdWords engineering campaign. Should be the case. So you can just drag and drop needed items to your tasks and it will be included directly to your projects or folders. Nothing impossible. So that way, it's not only in your to-do folder, but also in the related project. Great. But now that we have all of our to-do items in Wrike, it's time to effectively prioritize them. I will switch back to our slides to show you something more. Oh, sorry. Okay, great. Sorry. So, there is a smart way to determine priority, and it involves a tool invented more than 50 years ago by the 34th President of the United States, Dwight D. Eisenhower. It is basically a way to chart all your to-do items onto 4 quadrants. The first one, something which is important and urgent. The second one, important but not urgent. Third one, urgent but not important. And the fourth one, not urgent and not important. This method forces you to identify the most needed actions and can therefore help you with time management. The idea is to spend your time putting out the fires in quadrant 1, important and urgent, and spending any remaining time improving yourself in quadrant 2, important but not urgent. Everything else can be delegated or deferred. The first quadrant is for the first items, as its tasks are important for your life and career and need to be done today or tomorrow at the latest. An example of this type of task could be to review an important document for a manager, for example. The second quadrant is made for the task you need to schedule. Its tasks are important but less urgent. So you should list tasks you need to put in your calendar here. An example of that could be a long planned restart for your gym activity. Let's imagine this. Professional time managers leave fewer things unplanned and therefore try to manage most of their work in the second quadrant, reducing stress by determining urgent and important to-dos to a reasonable date in the near future, whenever a new task comes in. The third quadrant is for those tasks you could delegate, as they are less important to you than others, but still pretty urgent. You should keep track of delegated tasks by email, telephone, or within a meeting to check back on their progress later. An example of delegated task could be somebody calling you to ask an urgent favor or request that you step into a meeting. You could delegate this responsibility by suggesting a better person for the job or by giving the caller the necessary information to have him deal with the matter himself. The fourth and the last quadrant is here to help you to sort and categorize it to-dos. In our situation, it will be Chrome To-Do folder. Now Vlad will show you how we can organize the system using Wrike dashboards.
Thank you so much, Maria, for this wonderful introduction of this concept of decision matrices. So yeah, I'm going to show you how to actually implement all of this within Wrike. It's very easy to do, and what we just need to do is to create the top level My To-Do folder. So as you can see over here, I already have such a folder, but it's very easy to create it yourself. You can simply click on this plus button over here and select folder and basically just enter My To-Do and click create. This way you will create a personal folder. It will not be shared with anybody else by default because it's again on the top level. As you can see, we have some subfolders, and each of these subfolders represent the actual quadrants that Maria discussed before. So we have the subfolder for tasks that are important and urgent. The second one is for tasks that are important but not urgent, and the third one is for not important but urgent. So as you may remember, we had the fourth quadrant 2, and it was something for tasks that are not yet categorized. So what we can do right now is we can actually take the Chrome To-Do Extension folder that has been created before and just put it right under My To-Do. And then we know that all of these tasks that are in there are those that are not categorized yet. We just created them quickly on the go, and we haven't really done anything about them yet. And again, coming back to those of you who do not use Chrome, again, instead of having this Chrome To-Do extension folder that would be created automatically by Chrome, you can simply create a folder yourself and name it My Backlog or My, I don't know, Uncategorized, something like this. And then just go ahead and create tasks on the go and put them exactly in that folder. It's just one more manual step, but again, very easy to achieve. And if you ask how I can quickly create these tasks on the go within this folder, for example, you can start this folder, I'd say, and in this case, it should appear within start above everything else. So you just need to have Wrike open, and then you can quickly open this folder and create tasks from here. Or you even can use mobile apps, I would say, and then just go to that folder and create your quick tasks. Okay, so we have this My To-Do folder, we have all these four subfolders, and as you can see, we have even some colors associated with them, and it's very easy to put in a color. You simply need to right-click on a folder, select color, and select the prettiest one in the list. Okay, so what we need to do next is to build a nice little dashboard that would show us all these tasks. And why do I need this? I just want to see all of my tasks in one simple view, looking pretty, and helping me to get ready to resolve them. So I created a new dashboard, and I'm going to name it Decision Matrix or just Matrix. Okay, I just add enter, and it's finally ready. What I need to do next is to create widgets that should be based on tasks located inside those folders that we created before. So we need 4 widgets, one for each quadrant. For example, we have important and urgent. To create it as a widget on that dashboard, we simply need to open this folder, click on the menu button in the top right corner, select Add to Dashboard, and select the needed dashboard, which is Matrix in our case. And it already has a nice name, so yeah, we now have it on our dashboard. So I'm just gonna literally do the same with all the rest of the subfolders. So we are going to add the one for important and not urgent. Then we are going to add the not important but urgent. And finally, the one for our uncategorized tasks, and we're going to probably rename it to give it a more distinct name, something like without category. Sounds good. Add to dashboard. Okay, now we have the dashboard ready. We can see all these 4 categories, or the actual category without category, I would say. Okay, so what we need to do next is to make them prettier. So the first one, important and urgent, is going to be right over here on top. Important but not urgent is going to be probably just over here. Yes, so that makes sense. Then we have the third one. We're just gonna move it across, and you can see that it's very easy to work with widgets within dashboards like this. You can simply change their shapes. You can move them around to make things look as pretty as you need. Okay, so right now we literally have these 4 quadrants. We have all of these ready for us to work with. And as you know, we have this list of tasks that we need to actually work on. It's a lot of tasks and they are not yet categorized. We don't really know or understand yet in which order we should start working with them. So let's actually go ahead through these tasks and decide which one should appear in which category. For example, we have check new customers report. I would say that it's quite important, but not urgent. So I would just take it and drag and drop it to this bucket. And you can see now we have it appear over here. It has a category. It actually now resides within this folder. You can simply open this folder and find this task in there. Create a marketing campaign for a product beta. Sounds like a very important task, and I know that it's actually coming up, so I can schedule it appropriately. Well, let's make it more realistic. Okay, and we're gonna move it to important and urgent. So this way I know that, well, this task is very important. I know that it's urgent and I need to start working on it right away. So this would be the first bucket I would ideally want to make empty, because these tasks are the quickest one, not necessarily the quickest ones, but the most urgent ones and the most important ones. Of course, you can go ahead and work with other tasks and move them around to make sure that your without category is empty. What you need to do is to check it from time to time and make sure that it's empty and that all of these tasks are actually located in some of these buckets. So feed the fish is, I would say, probably important because we do not really want our fish to die, but it's not urgent because, well, I know that I'm on vacation and I want to delegate this work to somebody else. So I'm just gonna move it here. I know that I can quickly just tell that person to go feed my fish in the office, and then I'm done with it. Okay, so we can also just go ahead and move these tasks too. But you get the idea. We have all these buckets. They help us understand when exactly we need to work on our tasks. Again, you start with these tasks that are the most important ones and that are the most urgent ones. Then you move to those that are important but not urgent. You can actually work on the most important stuff, and you know that you can take your time as you go because, well, they are not urgent. Of course, these are the ones that are not important but urgent. That means that you can actually delegate them. Maybe you can reassign them to somebody else. For example, follow up to Mark about team building. You know that, well, you have a colleague that also worked on that team building event and that they can actually help you with this task. You do not have the time on that. So it's not really important, but it's urgent. So you can just go ahead and click on this button and assign it to somebody else. For example, Joanna over here. Now Joanna will know that she needs to follow up to Mark, and you can even open the task right from here and let her know in the comments that you need her help with that. See, it's very easy to work with tasks like that. Once your task is ready, you again can actually check it as complete from your Chrome To-Do extension, or if you will continue working from this view, you can simply open the task and mark it as complete over here, just like this. So this is how the decision metrics works. Again, you can be a bit more flexible with this. Our dashboards allow you to create widgets based on all sorts of criteria, based on different, sorting options. So again, you can go as crazy as you want with those. Just make sure that it really reflects the way you think, the way you set up your personal work. But I think this is a good way to start your decision making. So now back to Maria, and she's gonna tell us more about other concepts.
Okay, thank you, Vlad. Our metrics look so good and so easy to use. Hope it will really help our users to save their time and to be more concentrated on really important stuff. So let me just switch to our presentation and go a little further. So now we can manage our daily tasks and be sure not to miss anything. But what about meetings? As we all know, meetings are meant to boost productivity and efficiency. Because when everyone is on the same page and aware of what should be done, even the most challenging tasks can be completed. And of course, when you are in the meeting with all your team or with your manager face to face, it has more value rather than sending emails or have a comment chart. Unfortunately, in reality, we find ourselves stuck at unproductive meetings week after week. Sometimes the direction is lacking, no decisions are made, and you're left wondering what the point of it all was. Another problem is how to manage all these meetings. Let's be honest, a lot of us still have tons of them. Team meetings, one-to-ones with our direct managers, all hands meetings, meeting with customers, meeting with members of other teams if we have some cross-functional purposes. All of this can be awfully overwhelming as well. Why it's important to organize them in a good way? We usually have action items to work on after most of these meetings. As a lot of people, I used to rely on memory. Really not the best idea. Notebooks and smartphone notes, and then ended up being a mess of all these sources of information. But Wrike changed everything. That's why we will now share with you some secret tactics that we are using here at Wrike to make meetings more productive and manageable. Now, I can store all my meetings in the same place and categorize them. All the information is available, and I can come back to our meetings agendas and all the decisions we agreed on once it's needed. Action items are already in Wrike. And, of course, I can check on notes and tag action items in projects. So, our meetings in Wrike are insanely productive. And Vlad will explain you now more in details what you need to do in order to adopt our approach.
Thank you so much, Maria. Yes, this is very easy to do in Wrike. Basically, you can work with your meetings and make sure that you get the most out of them, that they are not actually a burden for you, and that you, actually have effective meetings. So, again, I just want to remind you before I start that you shouldn't shy away from asking questions. I can see that we have a lot of people today, and that probably means that the topic is very important for you. So don't shy away and ask your questions in the chat box. We are trying to answer to as many of them as possible, and we'll of course take some of them during the live Q&A session. So yeah, back to the topic. Now, the issue I see a lot of accounts are struggling with is meetings. As Maria said, we all struggle with them. I have personally too many meetings. Maria has a lot of meetings, and we need to find a way to actually organize them and work with them appropriately. So what we need to do to start organizing our stuff is to create a My Meetings folder. Again, it can be a top-level folder so that it doesn't really clutter your colleagues' folder trees, and so that it just appears for you and it's private. But of course, if you want to create a folder for meetings with your team, you can actually share it with your team. For example, if you're a team lead or if you just want to help your team be more organized. So in this case, you would share it with my team. Okay, so we just need to click create and we are done for now. Next, what I would like to do is to create subfolders, and each of those subfolders would represent your regular meetings. For example, weekly team meeting. To create a subfolder, again, just right-click on your folder, select Add, and select Folder. And we enter weekly team meeting. Beautiful. Okay, so now we have a subfolder for our meetings that we have weekly, for example, each Monday with our entire team, with our manager. Okay, so the next one would be weekly one-on-one with manager. Manager one-on-one, to make it short. Okay, cool. I think this is enough for demo purposes, but you get the idea. Basically, you have these subfolders for all of these meetings that you have. And if you have some meetings that are irregular, I would say, for example, some clients meetings or stuff like that, then again, just create a separate folder that would be for these sorts of meetings. But if you have these regular meetings, then yep, this is a good way to organize them. Okay, let's open the one-on-one with manager. We know that we have this meeting, for example, next Monday. Let's create this task first for the meeting that we have scheduled for the next Monday. So we create a task just like this. We are going to assign it to ourselves first because we don't want to forget about it. Okay, so we're going to assign it to Maria. Next, what we need to do is to schedule it for Monday. Okay, it's done. And what we need to do is to actually prepare a little bit for that meeting. So we are going to add some information in the description. For example, we will start with agenda. So we have some space for agenda to discuss with our manager. Next, what we need to do is to add notes. Yep, sounds good. So we discuss the agenda, we take some notes, and while we have the meeting, we can actually enter all this information within this task. What we need to do is just to have this task open while we discuss something with the manager. And finally, we'll finish up with the action items. Of course, it's a meeting, so usually you'd want some action items to be there after the meeting. For example, you need to do something. You need to come up with a new report. You need to talk to a client or anything else. Action items, they are important. We can even highlight them with red. I think that would be a good idea. Okay, so we have this beautiful description. We assign it to ourselves. We scheduled it. What else? We know that this is the meeting that we are going to have every single Monday for as long as we are part of this team, as we work with this manager. So to make things easy and to make sure that we always have these places for agenda, for notes, for action items, we are going to make these tasks recurrent. We are going to make sure that it's auto-created by Wrike without our help before every single Monday. So what we need to do is click on the menu button over here, select Make Recurrent, and then we are going to select the weekly frequency because we know that it should appear each single Monday. We're going to select Monday. We're going to start it today, and we do not want to limit the creation of these tasks, and we're going to create 2 tasks up front. And we can actually select when we want this frequency to end. So let's just find these dates, check these dates so far. Okay, so we see that by default, it takes all the information from the task that you have already created. So you see the title, one-on-one with manager. You can change it if you want for future tasks. You can see that it's also assigned to you. So the good thing about the actual assignment is that every single time you'll have this task appearing in your inbox before every single Monday. So you always will be ready for your meeting because you'll have this task ready. What else? Now you can share it with your manager, for example, from here, for example, Anne, and will also have access to this. What we need to do is to see the description. It's pretty much ready, I think, for our purposes, and we just need to click Save. And you can see that since we selected 2 tasks up front, we already have this task for the next Monday created right away. And if we open this task, it's going to be pretty much identical. It's going to have this description ready. It's going to have everything ready, and it's all already shared with our manager. So finally, you have the description, yeah? You have this agenda ready. It's written down. You checked it beforehand, basically. Um, Also, for example, you have a new meeting next Monday that is scheduled for October 1st. You may think that, well, I do not really remember the agenda and the notes of the previous meeting, so, well, I'm probably screwed because I do not remember what I wanted to do. So you simply can actually track everything now by opening the previous task. So it's very easy. You'll see all your notes, you'll see all your agenda and action items. So again, very, very easy. So let's open our task. Okay, action items. Something that is probably the most important about this. You, again, ideally want to have some action items after your meeting. Again, create a report, I don't know, something like this. I would say that you have 2 ways of dealing with this in Wrike. Of course, you can get more creative and create some other ways, but I would say these are probably the most straightforward ones. So the first one is to create these action items right inside the description. For example, 1, 2, 3, these all are basically the things that you need to complete before the next meeting, I would say, or the things that you need to set up. So you, again, simply need to click on that checklist icon in the description to create them first. But after you're done, you simply check on this little box and consider your task empty. Oh, sorry, complete. I would say that the good thing about this is that it's very quick to do. Like, you have a meeting, you are being told that you need to complete a certain task. You create this list of items that you need to complete right on the go. You do not really need to go to any other pages to create any more tasks or anything else, or to track something. But the bad thing about this is, I would say, you need to remember to come back to this once all of this is complete. So it really depends on how you think, I would say, or how easy those tasks are. So if these are just, I don't know, little steps that need to be done, then I think this is the way of dealing with your action items. The second way of dealing with them is to create subtasks for each of your for each of the steps that you need to complete. For example, let's create a task for create a report on Wrike usage. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to create this subtask. It's going to appear under our main task. So we know that we need to complete it before the next meeting, let's say. What we also need to understand about this is that we can, for example, time comes and we didn't really have time to finish up this task. And we know that it's going to be an action item for the next meeting as well. And while we discussed this with our manager, we explained that, well, we didn't really have time to create this report, or it's not ready for certain reasons. And it's still the same tasks. Maybe it's still the same task, and maybe we have already started working on it. So we can actually attach it to the new meeting task. And it's going to be literally the same task. We're not going to recreate it. What we need to do is to open this new meeting task, click Add Subtask, and simply find the needed one in here. See? we didn't really create a new task, we just added the one from before. For example, you have tasks that you know should span for for a longer time, like for a month. So of course you are going to discuss the same action item within probably 3 to 4 meetings. So that would make sense to add it to another meeting. And another thing that is great about this approach is that, first of all, you can, for example, you know that this particular task is related to a certain project. You can, of course, check this task with that project. For example, it's related to one of our clients' projects, so we are simply going to tag it like this. We are going to drag and drop the project folder from the folder tree onto the task, and you'll see that it's now tagged and it now appears under the project, and basically it resides in that project that is called new designs and develop campaign strategy. Since we know that it's part of that project, it makes sense for us. And another good thing about this is that it's a task basically. It appears in your dashboards, it appears in your inbox or my work, so it's easier to track. You'll not you'll not forget about it, as opposed to those action items created with checklists. So I'd say that it's a good way to deal with this. And what you can also do is to tag this task with your Chrome To-Do Extension folder. Simply drag and drop it from Chrome To-Do Extension onto this task. And we have a brand new tag. And we know that this task will now appear on our decision matrix. See, create a report on Wrike usage. Important, urgent. Here. Now we have it, and we can schedule it, or sorry, assign it to somebody from our team, to ourselves, to anybody else. Cool. This is basically how you organize meetings. Again, Wrike doesn't really restrict you on anything. You can get more creative. It really depends on your set of mind, on the way you usually work. So when you deal with meetings and their related action items, it's really just important to think about what works for you. And I hope that this will help you start and get basically on the way to success with organizing your meetings. And this is pretty much everything in terms of the live demo. We try to show you some of the best practices on how to organize your workspace for your own personal productivity. So what I want to recommend you next is please check out the handout section of the webinar. And in there, you'll find something that our marketing team came up with. And it's basically a document that is called 75 productivity tips that will transform the way you work. In this infographic, you'll find some new ways to improve productivity. It's not really rocket science. It's simple little secrets or tips. And if you check them, basically, we can even open how it looks. You can see that some of them help you save time, some of them help you focus, some of them are more probably silly than, I don't know, effective, but they help you at least to boost your, I don't know, morale, I would say. So share it with your colleagues, download it from the handout section, and we can even post this link to you in the chat, I think. So let's do this. Yeah, feel free to check it out. It's a really cool little document. Okay, now back to our slides. What else we have? And yeah, another thing that I would recommend to do is to check out our Wrike community and especially the best practices page. So let me show you how you can quickly access Wrike community. So your Wrike account, simply open your Wrike account, click on help and support and go to community from here. You'll switch to, well, basically community is like our forum of users. A lot of different customers share their best practices, share their way of working with Wrike. So you can find a lot of different fun stuff within the best practices section. And also here you can find some weekly release notes. You can find the feature-oriented questions and other stuff like that. Okay, so I think it's finally time for our Q&A section. So we'll give you probably a couple more minutes to prepare your questions. And in the meantime, we are going to look for some fun questions from you.
Yeah, great. Let's start. So, seems that we received lots of questions from you guys. You are very active today, and this is really great. Seems that our topic is really important for you, and I feel that Vlad already found the first question.
Yeah, I can see we have really a lot of questions, and our colleague Artem, say hi to him in the chat. He actually helped us answer some of them, but we have a few more to answer. Um, oh, okay. Please review how you moved Chrome To-Do extension under My To-Dos. I think, Maria, can you help us with that?
Okay. I can show you. So as I said, once you have your Chrome To-Do extension here, a special Wrike folder is created. So actually, this one, Chrome To-Do extension folder, is created automatically once you install the app. So as it's created in our root folder, you just need to drag and drop this Chrome To-Do extension into my To-Do folder. So it's working as simple as drag and drop tasks and projects in Wrike. So for example, I can move my Chrome To-Do extension to our root folder one more time. So it's here. Now, if I want to move it to my To-Do, it will be here. You can also start this folder, as we did with Vlad during our webinar, and it will appear here in the start items. I hope we answered your question.
Okay, so we are checking for other questions. Finally, please review how you set up that matrix. I'm trying to follow along and set this up, but I get lost. No worries, thanks for your questions. Again, first of all, you'll need to start by simply creating the matrix. So just go to your dashboard, click here on the name of your dashboard, and click Add New Dashboard. So you'll have this brand new dashboard that is created for your matrix. Just click Enter. Open one of the subfolders that you pre-created before. Again, these are all for the categories that you want to appear on your matrix. So for example, this one is for important and urgent, and we want to have this one appear as a widget on our dashboard, our matrix dashboard. So we're going to click here on this menu button, and we're going to add to dashboard, add to matrix, new dashboard, and add to dashboard. And we can do the same with all the other subfolders that you can see here that you created for yourself for your convenience. And after that, we go back to dashboard. We'll find all four of them here. I just added literally the first one, but you get the idea. In the same manner, we can add all the rest ones. Okay, I hope that answers your question. I think we have time for some other questions. Let us check for those. How do I get my scheduled tasks to appear in the Chrome extension to-do list? Okay, so this one is actually very easy because the way the Chrome to-do extension works is that, well, you create a task within the extension and it appears in Wrike. But if you create a task within your Chrome to-do extension folder manually in Wrike, it will reappear in this Chrome to-do extension. So if I go to Wrike and I create a task within that folder, that would mean that it will appear on that Chrome to-do extension. Let us show you. Scheduled task. Okay, so we have created this task, so let's move to the to-do extension. And we're going to refresh it. Schedule task. See, now I have this task and it's ready to use. So basically, the way it works, everything that appears inside that folder appears over here. If you already have some existing tasks and you want to see them inside your within your Chrome to-do extension list, simply tag your tasks with this folder, just find the needed task, drag and drop the folder onto that task, for example, or just check them with that folder like this. Click Move to Chrome To-Do Extension, select Move over here, and if you refresh, you should be able to see them. Yeah, and here they are. You can see all of them. So if you already have some tasks that you want to appear within your Chrome To-Do extension, just do it like this. Just move them to that folder or simply check them with that folder. I think we have a few more minutes, probably 4 minutes before we end. So we have some other questions.
So I think we have a good one. In a company, when someone adds a personal task to a project, can the project owner see it? Also, does it mess up the organization of this project? So very good question in my opinion. So first of all, when you are starting sharing projects and using Wrike as a collaborative tool for your team, it's very important to have some rules, internal rules, and we have a special document called How to Get It Right that you can apply to explain your users that it's important to manage all your tasks and to create a special naming conventions. So actually, if the task that is from your personal to-do will go to the project, of course, you will probably change the name accordingly to your project rules. Of course, project owner will see it because in Wrike, we have sharing options. Like if the parent folder or project is already shared with the team, everything that is tagged with this folder is shared with the same people as the folder. So to reply on your question, yeah, of course, the project owner will see the task. And to avoid some problems about naming convention, just let your team know that you have some internal rules and they can simply move such tasks in your project and try to agree maybe on the meetings if you can use this method. Vlad, do we have something?
Let me
more?
check. Thank you so much for your answer. And again, thank you so much for all of you being so active. Again, it means that this topic is really important for you and that it strikes a chord with a lot of people. Let me check if we do have some other questions. How do you add the My To-Do folder and subfolders to my dashboard? So again, it's very easy to do. Let me go back to our Wrike instance. So you simply need to find the needed folder, click on that folder, click on this menu button in the top right corner, select Add to Dashboard, and find the needed dashboard. What is the best way to get a requested improvement prioritized by Wrike if multiple users are interested in the same topic? I would say that you need to submit your improvement inside our community. So I would recommend to, again, open Wrike community. And within these topics, you can see product feedback. And I would recommend to submit your idea over here, create a post, discuss why exactly you need this feature, and basically, sorry, I got lost for a little bit. Okay, so finally we're here within the product feedback. So yeah, you can see that it contains some other feature requests. So please submit your ideas over here. And if you want it to get prioritized, please ask your colleagues to upvote this feature and share their thoughts within the comment section. And I can promise you all of this is being redirected to our product managers so they would be able to review it and so that they would be able to think about this feature. Okay, so I think we are out of time. We tried to answer to as many of your questions as possible. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure hosting this webinar for you. As I mentioned, you're all going to receive this webinar to your emails, to the ones that you're registered with, probably within a day or two. So stay tuned for that, and you can share this webinar with your colleagues. We would be very happy about that. And please submit your feedback after the webinar is done.
Thank you, Vlad. Thank you. Thank all of you guys. Really happy to co-host this webinar with Vlad. And just be as productive as you can using Wrike. Stay tuned.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
again. Bye.